Hey folks, Chris here with the Crabapple Cottage. Today I wanted to show you the grain mill that I purchased a while back that I haven't had a chance to use. It is a Victoria grain mill. These are the parts that just came straight out of the box. Everything is cast iron, except for this is like a piece of rubber, this is a piece of plastic, and this is wood, and this is like galvanized steel. But all the moving parts are cast iron. I chose this particular version because I was looking for a manually operated grain mill to do things like my acorn flour, cornmeal, stuff like that. I am trying to get into raising grains this year, so I got a grain mill for that. I also wanted something cast iron because it's a little bit more durable. And this one, you could get the larger hopper. So I opted for the larger hopper so that I wouldn't have to mess with a smaller hopper. So I'm going to put this thing together and we're going to test it out on this popcorn. So supposedly you can grind popcorn into cornmeal. So that's what we're going to do today. Stick with me. Here we go. I got the grain mill all assembled. Gave everything a wash and a dry. It attaches to a table or a countertop. There's a little, like that little rubber piece goes on the bottom of the vice grip so that you can protect your tabletop. Got the big hopper here on the top. Everything's attached. This is the guard for the mill. So now we're going to try to grind some corn. This is Jolly Time popping corn from the Dollar Tree. The instructions say that you should grind up 1 pound or 2 of grain initially, and it's going to have some dark flecks in it that resulting from the grinder, from the parts basically grinding against each other, so some metallic flakes essentially. So this is cheap grain, $1.25. So we're going to go ahead and grind this up, and then we're going to get rid of it. All right, so I have it. You adjust the coarseness over here on the side with this little lever, so I have it pretty fine. We're gonna see how this goes. Oh, there it goes. It's really moving my table around, so note to self, get a sturdier table. Yeah, this IKEA table's not really holding up. Okay, so it doesn't actually look like it's doing a whole lot of grinding. There's some that are ground in there, but it's not doing very much. So I think I need to tighten it. I think. We'll see how that works. Yeah, I'm still having trouble getting it to grind. You can see here it's a little bit better, but it is definitely not ground. So I don't know that you can tighten this thing much more, but I don't want to break it. Interesting. I'm not super impressed, guys, with the grinding ability of this mill. Goodness. The problem is you gotta tighten it up and grind it fine, and it's really hard to turn. Okay. Woo! This is an arm workout, guys. Definitely easier to use a battery-powered or electric mill. But I'm looking for something for off-grid. Okay, now it seems to be doing a better job. You can see here that is ground a lot better, but it sure is not flour. So I'm going to sift this. I don't think hardly any of it is going to go through my sieve, but we'll see. We'll sift it and then we'll put it back in the hopper. Yeah. Oops. Not super impressed so far, guys. Stick this back in there. So there you can see there is some cornmeal that has come out so far, but clearly I need to work on this better. And I don't know if I need a sturdier table or what, but let's try it again. Okay, it's coming out better. I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. Here is what just came out. Here's what it looks like when it's flour. We're going to do a little bit more of this. So, definitely a labor-intensive project. I'll probably get a battery-powered or an electric-powered mill as well to have in my preps. And use that for like the popcorn and dent corn that I'm growing and things like that. But I do have this mill. It is making cornmeal, as you can see here. It's just really, really labor intensive, which I should have known that. So we're just gonna keep going and see if we can get this all ground. Okay, so I got that pound of corn through the mill one time, all of it. Whew, that was an arm workout, guys. Now, you could probably take this corn and soak it and boil it and make like a porridge out of it. But we're going to try to grind it a little bit finer. I'm going to sift it first, and then I'm going to tighten this over here to make the grinding wheel just a little bit tighter. And we're going to stick it back through the hopper and see if we can get it to grind a little finer. Here's what we got so far. We definitely have cornmeal, but most of it went back on the hopper for a second grind. Whew, I'll tell you, I'm working off all that energy from that banana muffin that I ate a little bit ago. So this is the corn after a second grinding. We're going to put it back through the sieve and see if we can get some more cornmeal out of it. I don't know, guys. This may be as fine as it gets. I don't think I want it badly enough to grind it a third time. So, a couple of different conclusions that I have from this. One, it's a lot of work to grind corn. Now, this is popcorn, so it's probably a little bit harder, maybe, than some other types of corn, but it is a lot of work. Number two, I know why grist mills were the first industries to be established when settlers moved into a new region, because any sort of tool that would help you with this process, help you move it along, considering how much corn they ate, how much cornbread and Johnny cake and hoe cake and corn pone and all that stuff. And my third conclusion is I think I'm going to go stock up on some more cornmeal because I don't want to have to do this by hand if I don't have to. So in comparison, this jar is a jar of field corn. Like, literally, I walked outside across the street and actually my parents' property and picked a little bit of corn growing in the bottom few acres. So it's field corn, not the same thing as popcorn, but it's much, you can see how much finer it is. And that I ground with an electric coffee grinder. So I hope the power doesn't go out because I can totally do cornmeal with the coffee grinder. Doing it with the hand mill is crazy labor intensive, but can be done if need be. It's just a much, much rougher product. I do have a Jackery solar battery with some solar panels on the way, and so I think using my coffee grinder to grind corn would be a perfectly adequate use of solar energy. But I'm glad I have it. I do have it. I can also use it for acorns when I make acorn flour this year. So there you go, guys. There's my review of this Victoria grain mill. How hard it is to grind popcorn into cornmeal. This is after 2 grinds here. This is after it's been sifted after 2 grinds. And this is the cornmeal And this is the cornmeal that I ground electrically with my electric coffee grinder. So totally different product. After all that work, I'm actually going to throw all of this away. I don't have chickens. I would feed it to the chickens, but I don't have chickens. So because this cornmeal, remember I said at the beginning that this mill needed to have a couple pounds of corn run through it to clean the gears, right? Because the gears are essentially... There's a wheel in here, 2 wheels, and one wheel rotates and they grind against each other to grind the corn. And there's little bits of this silver paint, this metallic paint in there, and little bits of loose metal. So running the corn through, I ran it through twice, so that would have gotten a lot of that those metallic bits out. So this corn is not suitable for human consumption. This corn is probably not good for human consumption either, because it just came out of the fields and I don't know what the farmer was spraying on it. I imagine there were some pesticides and whatnot on it, so it was just something I had kind of done as an experiment. So I'll throw out both of these batches. Actually, my neighbor down the street has chickens, so maybe I'll toss this to the chickens. I feel like this might be something they would like. So, yeah, there we go. I'm gonna probably stick with my electric coffee grinder unless I absolutely cannot any longer. If you guys enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Talk to you later.